たちは
賜物なり。
我が最地をお見せしよう。さっきは周到に手勢を展開しています。私たちの追跡を予知していたようですね。みんなが捕まえていることを覚悟の上、我らの気概で打ち砕くのみです。
まずは賜物前様に協力する者たちを倒す。それが寛容かと存じます。
賜物前に抱く。敵はよく見て戦をなすものか。
私が行こう。
これはこれで戦いがいがあるだろう。見事な武を示されるものだ。
Oh, hello. Sorry.
賜物前に以前
もあなたの力をお借りしましたね。ご協力をお願いできるでしょうか。
もちろん。ではまず指揮で敵の動きを阻むとしよう。
敵の兵力は衰える。おそらく刃物前の仕業によるものです。受けてみろ。手を打てればいいのですが。
やはり侮れぬ。
この地には流血がある。それを利せ敵の現実を防げ。
私が行くよ。受けてみろ。
敵増援の動きを封じさせる。
受けてみろ。
やってくれるの。流血に急ぐとするか。
私が行こう。わらわでは倒せぬか。
生命様の術を成功させねばなりません。まず様を退けましょう。
私ですが油断は禁物です。よろしくやりましょう。よくやってくれ。
無事に流血へとたどり着いた。この地に私ならば使いこなせ。賜物の能力を抑えることができる。術は賜物の愛が込める砦を目指す。
私が行こう。敵将討ち取ったよ。
やりおる。せいぜいあがくがいい。せいぜいあがくがいい。
見事なものだな。
素晴らしきご活躍にございます。
おう、やるの。
私が真の三国無双だ。
皆さん、火はお好き？それとこんなのはどう？楽しめると思うわよ。
絵を用いてきたか。その上お前の力によるものだ。
歌舞伎に死骸を放す。
強力を見せてやる。
事情は聞きました。力で火を消しましょう。私が行こう。
ここだ。俺がよし。よし、俺たちも一緒に進むぞ。
うっそー。よくさんやられちゃったの？ああ、やっぱりやめちゃった。
私が行こう。
せいぜいあがくがいい。敵将討ち取ったり。
ここだ。私が行こう。工夫よ。
そっちはそやめ。よくも抜け抜けと我らの前に。
何のことや。魔性の封印の左半術。
負けられないんだ。敵将、私が討ち取った。
やったぞ。賜物前はもはや戦いまい。
健康に一滴。まずは満足。
ようやってくれた。俺ならば賜物前を封印できよう。
私は負けられない。
身のよし
お見事。
あなたわしおろそのなこのそれを
おな
確信なくかか
This part of the content is kind of dry, mostly because they're just recycling old maps. They do give you some new maps later. They gave you the Imperial Palace, which is a pretty cool map, but they kind of are flexing not having much of a budget at this point. As you go through the same maps you've already gone through before. But it's nowhere near as bad as Orochi 4, where they literally, the final two fights, the final two battles are on the same map, so it literally feels like you like wipe that map clean and then everybody just respawns. This game's nowhere near as bad, but it kind of really drip feed the new maps for you to play on, so it gets a little dry, unfortunately. They did do this expansion like 2 years after the game came out. It wasn't even really a given that it was going to get one at all. I guess it did well enough that they wanted to expand upon it. But yeah, visually this gets kind of dry because it's the same ass maps we've been doing for how many games now? A little repetitive. At least they're mostly small maps that are easy to get around. Definitely a little low budget until they start actually giving you new maps to run around in. Not that many new tracks either. Nice, shut up. Thank you. talking on this map.
砦は制圧できたようじゃな。こたびはわしも復芸に甘んじてやるわ。
一通りの準備はできたかの。
Should stop talking so I can kill stuff.
罠にかかりに行こうかね。
私が行こう。ここだ。
どこから来やがった。
ここで潰される。
なんだこいつら、手がつけられて。数が足りんぞ。どんどん送れ。くれちゃったね。
やるではないか。や
るじゃねえか。
Are they gonna make me go all the way around, huh? So classic. Gotta walk all the way around instead of opening up the door over here. They better not get their shit pushed in while I wait. There's a bunch of unique officers up there. I'm worried they're gonna get themselves killed. I got a unity attack, so I can stop them from moving pretty much. Should help. Let's just get everybody over here. They're all dead.
良き者の不よ。
良き働きです。
敵将私が打ち取った。行くぞ。
なんだか疲れちゃった。バイバイ。ご争うなど心境をいただきに参りました。もちろん腕ずくで口をしやわらわが人の子なぞに。
私は負けられない。軍神の粉。
表面に
よし。さほ
うまく妙な思いそ
手に入れ。
殿、我が最地をお見せしよう。
あれは長政様。曹操様、私に長政様を説得させてください。
この状況で城を出るのは良いか。まずは本土西側の敵を押し返すのだ。
お持ちよ。城にこもったところで何になる。いざ打ち上げてくれ。力攻めは無駄な犠牲を生む。敵の戦意を削ぐべきだ。しかしいや、分かった。ここは長政殿の言に従おう。
よし、次は中央の砦を奪取するぞ。東関門を開け。
全員進軍せよ。行こうか。この行為が崩されてならば前線を押し上げ敵の勢いをそぐまで。私が行こう。分かった。前衛の各部隊前進して敵に当たるのだ。目の覚める戦ぶりお見事。おお、申し分ない働きだ。その首ここだ。猿を降りぬか。私が打ち取った。
They're watching the Evo stuff? Yeah, I was just checking out Project L. Watch a little bit of Street Fighter. Under Night 2 I looked at as well. The game honestly looks like a Street Fighter 2 version level of improvements. Looks like pretty much the same game. The thing about Under Night is that it's a great fighting game, but it just had garbage netcode. So I guess that's why they're doing it. That's I think they're forgiven. But yeah, it looks like a very iterative sequel. It's like basically the same game. It's like the difference from SF2 World Warrior to Champion Edition. It's like didn't really seem to have added that much. But it's a lot easier to just make a new game and roll back in it than it is to put it in an old game. So, I mean, to be fair, the Grand Blue Fantasy Rising is like same thing. Looks like they could do that as like a paid update or something. Doesn't really look like it needs to be a new game, but fighting games are kind of going back to the way they were. At least these like non-AAA ones. Like, yeah, you gotta buy the game again. You're really not adding a whole lot to it. But Under Night and Grand Blue have the excuse of they had shit netcode, which is why people didn't play them. So it should be more of a player base now, at least. The game will actually function. I wanted to play Under Night. I played it single player for a while. Played it for a couple hours. It's a Discord fighter with bad netcode. It's just like, I'm sorry, it's not worth playing. I'm not really living in a place with frequent fighting game meetups right now, even for like most popular stuff like Street Fighter, so can't really justify paying 50-60 bucks for those games. I can buy something like this and I don't have to worry about player base and netcode. I'm just wondering what the hell they're gonna have for Finals Day, because like they already announced a ton of stuff today. Under Night 2 just kind of literally came out of nowhere, and they had gameplay for it today too, which was shocking. They had like a playable build there. It's like the characters are getting like new moves, and there's like some new mechanic at least, but it's very similar to the fighting game sequels I grew up with. You know, they made like 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, they made 3 of Street Fighter 3, and a bunch for Street Fighter 4 as well. Like, not really that much different, unless you compare, like, you skip, like, 2 versions, then it feels, like, less iterative, but... Imagine the next Under Night after this one will probably have, like, new sprites. They're using the same sprites. I think they know that they kind of dropped the ball with that game. It's a solid game. It's just unplayable unless you live near a community that plays it. Or he used Parsec, which is more than most people are willing to do, or go into Discord and beg someone to play, which not everybody's down for. I personally don't like Discord fighters for that reason. You kind of just want to go on and not really talk to anybody. I tend to be anti-social in online games. I just want to get into a match. I'm not really keen on having to go in and beg somebody to play. I get that's why people don't play Discord fighters. It's totally understandable. People would rather get a match in something quicker. So I'll say FF6 is Street Fighter 6 is way more interesting to watch than 5, just because the game is looser. I thought 5 just got dreadfully boring to watch after a while, and it wasn't a very interesting game to watch. I feel like a lot of people didn't really like playing it, but it was kind of a crap spectator sport too, because it was so aggressively balanced. They didn't want anyone to have fun or find anything cool, so I think 6 is a big improvement in terms of like gameplay and spectating. It's actually pretty impressive. A lot of people didn't like playing or watching 5, which is kind of sad, because, you know, they I think they wanted it to be like, it was a pretty big esport for what it was, I would say. But it also had a really long lifespan for a game that a lot of people didn't like playing, so I think the fatigue set in after a while. People got sick of it. I feel like only Tekken 7 had, out of these last generation of fighting games, has really avoided that. Dragon Ball Fighters got boring to watch pretty quick, because every time they balanced that game, there were still characters that were busted that everybody kept playing. Like all the fusion characters in Lab Coat 21. That game got really boring to watch, unfortunately. It had the pace that like makes it good for spectator sports and player expression. Like one person will play like a different character, the same character differently. That aspect was cool, but people just broke that game too quick. They did a pretty crap job balancing it, I think. Dragon Ball FighterZ also suffered from the first season, the launch characters being very homogenized. They're like, they have like minor differences. Part of their combo structure and the way their moves work was like very similar. They started taking more risks with the moveset design later seasons, but I find it funny that they're only doing top 6 on Sunday, but like, these games are way faster than the previous ones. Dragon Ball FighterZ took forever. What else? Street Fighter 5 actually took a really long time as well. I think 6 will go faster. That's because it's a faster game, and it's a lot more impressive in the way that the flow of the fights goes as well. It's kind of weird to go top 6 only, but I guess they're trying to not go until 2 AM this year, which has always been a problem. They definitely have a lot of like faster games. It doesn't take as long for the matches to end. Guess we'll see. And I'm just not into fighting games as much as I used to be. Ever since I moved here, I've had like less and less interest in playing them super sweaty like I used to. I still play them, but not anywhere near as much as I used to. Played a lot of Grid and Marvel Infinite. That was about as far as I took it last gen. I tried Dragon Ball Fighters, but the netcode was just abysmal. I couldn't stand it. And I was decent at that game, I guess. It's hard for me to warrant playing that stuff for so long now when a lot of the ones I like to play have crap netcode. I liked Under Night. The new Melty Blood is pretty decent as well. I'm glad that developer is actually starting to put not shit netcode in their games. They make good stuff, but you gotta live in certain areas to actually play their stuff. If you don't, then you're shit out of luck. That was kind of a wake-up call when I moved here. People mostly just play Street Fighter, Marvel, a lot of the like Golden Age Capcom fighting games, and that's like it. So it's been harder to justify buying those games. We'll see what they announce on Sunday, but I honestly feel it's going to be pretty predictable. Some kind of new Marvel. It's either going to be... The worst thing it could be is a remaster of Marvel 2. It might be a whole ass new Marvel game. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's very possible that they could be making a brand new Marvel game. There's not really much else it could be. It's either going to be that or Marvel 2 Remaster, which has been hinted at. There was a big social media movement like last year to try to get that game back. I personally just don't want to play Marvel 2 again. I mean, I'll be happy for the community if they get it, but unless they like rebalance that game, it's just boring to play. Top tiers in Marvel 2 just suck the fun out of watching and playing that game. I know this is a hot take from a boomer fighting game player, like an old head. Because I've legit been in the community for like 24 years, but Marvel 2 got really boring to watch and play really fast because it's basically just an asset flip. It's basically just Mugen. It's like an open BOR or Mugen game with a bunch of sprite dumps. They just kind of crapped out the game because they were losing the license. It's still a great game, but that game just got broken to shreds so quickly. I'm not really interested in playing it again. But it is an important part of fighting game history for sure, because like pretty much every team-based fighting game just steals the mechanics from that. The snapbacks, the assists, like team supers and everything, like all of that comes from Marvel 2. It's a very influential game. It's just I think people forget what it is. it's just an asset flip. It's like if somebody managed to sell like an open BOR game for real money somehow. Hey, what's up, Din? How you doing? You at Evo? I know you live like right there. Hey, that's cool. Yeah. I have some friends that are there right now.
怪我は大丈夫なのかよ。
I don't know if the guys here go next year. I might consider going if it's cheap enough. I'm just not into the genre as much as I used to be. This place is kind of a barren wasteland for the kinds of fighting games I like to play. I couldn't get anybody to sit down and play like Battle for the Grid or Marvel Infinite with me. They all just want to play the other games, which is fine. Yeah, moving to Bakersfield definitely drastically cut how much time I spend on fighting games. Unless they have a sick single-player mode. They have a sick single-player mode, which like no fighting games have anymore, pretty much. Thing of the past. Yeah, it's pretty much just a nerd con now. There's like cosplayers and exclusive games to play and stuff. It didn't used to be like that. It used to be kind of just you just go there for the fighting games and that was it. And now it's like a full-on like nerd con. It's still like hyper focused because it's all about fighting games, but there's a lot more to do there than there used to be for sure. But, you know, because the games actually work online now, that's a big part of why they have so many more people entering. Is the fucking online actually works. A lot of EVO's mainstream lifespan, these games have like not been playable online at all, so it's mostly people that are lucky enough to have local scenes and meetups to go to that were going. Like, the netcode is actually starting to get to an acceptable level for a competitive video game, so there's a lot more people going. It's pretty funny that they're seeing EVO is seeing the fruits of the Japanese developers actually caring to make a product that actually fucking works. It only took, like, how long? How many years? And like it's not just Street Fighter 6. It's the fact that a lot of the games there actually have good netcode. You know, King of Fighters does now. Tekken still has shit netcode, but they're working on fixing that. Street Fighter 6 netcode is great. Melty Blood netcode is great. Most of the games now are actually playable. I'm sure they're gonna chalk up all the success to SF6. I'm like, yeah, of course, that's a huge part of why there's so many people there this year, but it's also like the people that play the smaller games as well. The games actually fucking work now, so I think the decision to actually make the games fucking function instead of only being playable offline is, you can see the results of it. KOF 15 still got like what, like 700 entrants for a King of Fighters game. I mean, that's huge. And I guarantee you, most of those people don't have a local scene for that game. Like, they only play online. They do like online tournaments and ranked and stuff. It's good to see. 'Cause that's pretty much why I got out of fighting games for the most part. I got tired of buying them and taking them home, and then they were just complete garbage. Especially for someone who grew up in the arcade. You know, I never had to worry about that shit growing up. You went and played people face to face, and the game just worked. But then the arcades died, and fighting games just got way worse, in my opinion. I mean, I won. This wasn't like a big event, but I won a tournament in Fresno, Battle for the Grid, a couple years back, and I had like legit never played the game in person because the netcode was actually good. Like, the experience actually carried over. I don't think anyone there was like super great at it, but I won that tournament, and I'm not like, I don't really brag about it, because it wasn't like top level players, but the fact that there was a modern fighting game released where the netcode actually worked to allow me to do that, despite literally never playing the game in a competitive element in person, is pretty huge. It's an undeniable improvement how it used to be. Marvel 3 is like the perfect example. The netcode in that game was abysmal. You really had to have actual people living near you to play it. I mean, vanilla Marvel 3 didn't even have spectator mode. They had like the cards humping each other and you just watch the cards like have sex. It's just weird. Vanilla Marvel 3 is like a fever dream. That game didn't have spectator mode. Street Fighter 4 came out before that game and had it. Marvel 3 did not. It was just watching cards hump each other. That was their idea of online play. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Marvel 3 was a good game. And a lot of people were very excited for it, but that shit had very unfinished, like, polish, quality of life. How do you not have a spectator mode? Literally every other game that came out before or during that time did. So you couldn't even do online tournaments with vanilla Marvel 3. It was completely useless. Not only was the netcode bad, you couldn't even like grin and bear it because you couldn't. The lobbies sucked. I don't think Vanilla Marvel 3 supported everyone playing it once either. It's been such a long time that I don't think it had that either. So spent a lot of time watching cards hump each other. The Marvel 3 in general was just a weird game because they put out an expansion like less than a year later, which was actually felt like a finished game. I've told this story a million times, but I can actually pinpoint when I pretty much broke up with fighting games. It was when I moved here. I was very excited for KOF 13 because 12 was basically like vanilla Marvel 3, like an unfinished game. 13 was like the actual finished one. I really wanted to go in hard on that game and play it. So like when I moved here, the first thing I did was learn how to use the bus system and go pre-order that game. I get it home, I hook it up, I do one ranked match, and the netcode was awful. It felt like it had like a 2-second delay on every button press, every input. I turned the game off, and like, all I did was just mess around in training mode. I completely gave up. It's funny that I can actually pinpoint when I gave up on fighting games. It's sad, because it's like a big part of my taste in games, but that stuff just wasn't it, man. It's really funny that people don't play the American-made fighting games, because they're like better products than the Japanese ones. They still are. Like King of Fighters 15 does have good netcode, but it's completely devoid of content, so if you don't care about being competitive, it has literally nothing to offer. I think they still got a long way to go. Maybe this next gen of fighting games will actually take casual content more seriously. I was actually pretty appalled at how little content KOF 15 has. Like, the only thing it has going for it is the gameplay and the netcode. It's a pretty crap package, I would say. Very one-sided. If you like competitive play, then it's got all you need, but it's still kind of a hard sell at $60 for just arcade and versus and training. Even Tekken has like no single-player content now, which is weird because they used to be the kings of single-player content. Played so much Soul Calibur 1 and 2 just because they were single-player. The arcade version even had like a full-on RPG mode that you could play. Tekken 7 just has pretty much story, arcade, versus, and then bowling. That's it. Hello.
芝生がやられたか。いよいよ腹の立つゴミどもよ。すぐにひねり潰してやるから待っておれ。私が行こう。天の助け、助け出すと頼みます。受けてみろ。私が行こう。申し分ない働きだ。
How you doing, Jed?
私の前で活躍してみせたつもりか。ほらよ。俺と勝負だ。覚悟しろ。必ずや。5回による戦いに意味はありません。すぐに止めましょう。東卓が押し返してんのか。炎章がやる前に止めねえと。無益
気な争いはやめよう。袁紹には我らが話をつけよう。
奴が戦を止めに来たのか。いや、わしらを騙して罠にかける気じゃな。誰がその手に乗るか。わしに下がる者は皆切り刻んでくれるわ。
やはり無駄であったな。奴の浅はかさは罪悪。すまねばならない。
あの者ら、我が軍への援軍か。ここはひとまず奴らに任せてみる。
冷める戦ぶり見事に封よ。
匂いをまれ。お前が真の三国無双だ。私の話を聞いてくれませんか。
一段と冴えておいでですな。私が行こう。ここは引くしかないようですね。敵将討ち取ったよ。
あの援軍は何をしに来たのだ。やむを得この援本書自らが出るとしよう。今回だけは勝ちを譲ってやろう。もう我が支配地を荒らせてないぞ。
I don't know, Project L kind of looks like worst Battle for the Grid so far, but it's also like really early. Doesn't look like that game's gonna be playable until like this time next year. Battle for the Grid, as much as I love it, was really rough when it came out as well. They had like no voice acting. No voice acting for some reason. They had couldn't block low online. That game was a mess. They made it better over time, but Riot League of Legends is like a much bigger license, so I'm sure they want to have the game actually function when it comes out. It looks alright. It doesn't look like super good so far, but I think it'll be one of those games that'll get better over time. Like they'll probably add a lot of stuff to it. It's gonna be free to play, which means the potential player base they have is gonna be way bigger than pretty much all the other fighting games combined. Especially because League of Legends. A lot of people are sick of League of Legends. That's what's funny. I notice with that franchise, they're trying to branch out. Because word has gotten out. I mean, people pretty much tell you to like not play that game if you don't want to hate yourselves. It's just a toxic time sink. There's nothing good about it. They're like, hey, we have cool characters that could work in other kinds of games besides just MOBAs. So let's go ahead and like make different kinds of games with these characters. Seems to be working pretty well. People really like the TV series, and then they've had a bunch of League of Legends indie games the past year. I think like 3 or 4 of them have come out. It seems like the reception is pretty good. It's like, hey, you get to play League of Legends without actually playing League of Legends and getting yelled at and called racial slurs by 8-year-olds. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. That's why I never played that shit. I know it's just it's a way to pop a blood vessel and get an ulcer. There's no fun to be had playing that game. Unless you really need an excuse to yell at people. That's like the only thing of value it gives, but that's what makes that game so toxic. I think that game is a legit outlet for people. You come home and they're sick of their job. They're sick of their job, they hate their wives and stuff, they're tired of their kids. Go and play that game and yell at people and get pissed off. It's a terrible game, it always has been. I think it's legit like the worst popular game to ever exist. Such a shitty game. Pretty funny that Overwatch tried to like not have all the toxic stuff. It's like you just can't remove it. When your game is team-based, it's going to be toxic. There's no way to not make it toxic. Because people that play those games can't accept that they made a mistake. They need to blame it on somebody else. And like most of the other popular multiplayer competitive games don't have that problem. Because it's either just like deathmatch like Call of Duty or Battle Royales like Fortnite and stuff as well. It's pretty funny it took them this long to realize that like maybe more people would interact with League of Legends stuff if they didn't have to actually play the game. The game is a piece of garbage. It's always been an awful game. You know, a lot of the reason why it's popular is because it's easy to get into. You can play with your friends with like minimal barrier of entry, but actually playing it is just an awful experience. I don't know, in fighting games it's mostly just you'll get people that send you hate mail, but you know you can just ignore it. For one. And also even the most toxic fighting game players online are more willing to accept their loss than anybody that plays League. Pretty huge difference. Besides, it's fun to make people rage quit.
助けてくれたのね。お礼を言った方がいいのかしら。近しい者同士が争う不要な話。この戦場はまるで地獄よね。商品を助けたい。他の投石機を使って。
That was the thing I really liked about PSO2 was that they didn't have the game set up where you needed specific classes in the party. And that pretty much killed toxicity. Toxicity in vanilla PSO2 was mostly just if people thought you weren't clearing something fast enough, they would rage quit, which during the game's raids, which we called emergency quests, you had a half-hour time limit. So some people would try to get like 3 runs. They'd try to get like 2 or 3 runs in the half-hour time period to maximize the rewards. And like, if they felt you weren't doing well enough, you didn't get called racial slurs. There was no mic chat, so that wasn't the problem. The problem was that that game did not tell you when somebody rage quit or left. So the tower defense was like the closest toxicity in that game. because people had these unrealistic standards for like how well tower defense should go with randoms instead of with like actual people you know. That was about as bad as that game got. It's kind of funny that they managed to remove toxicity better than a lot of more popular games. It was very isolated. It's mostly just the tower defense. But the tower defense eventually got power crept, and they started towards the end of the game's lifespan. There was more chill stuff, like the big set piece raids. It's like it doesn't really matter. A lot of those you can only do once per event anyway, so unless you're one of those like giga tryhards trying to do it on like 3 characters in half an hour, no one really cared. Tower defense was mostly just ruined by the fact that the game doesn't notify you when someone leaves, so I remember so many times I would actually stick around because I actually try to be a good teammate and not rage quit, but then like half the people already left, so it's like legit pointless. You kind of have to rage quit at that point because you're not going to get anything. But that endgame activity was flawed for that reason. But other than that, there was no toxicity at all. I think they went to great efforts to make it so you could just play the game casually. And all the sweaty stuff was solo anyway. That's the other thing about that game. The hardest content was done solo, for the most part. It's like kind of hard to have toxicity when the hardest content in the game where you got to play by yourself. That keeps things in check real fast. I miss that game, man. I wish they hadn't ruined it with New Genesis. It's a shame.
こんな面白いことめったにないしね。
君今のお前が真の三国無双だった。おお、お見事です。
League of Legends is just, it's an accessible game to play. It's easy to play it with your friends, but it's just a fucking miserable experience. It's a terrible game. I had a lot of friends that played it and they quit because they realized how awful it was. Like, yeah. There's better games to play with the limited free time you have than that game. But yeah, PSO2 not really having MMO Trinity roles and stuff, I think really helped to kill the toxicity too. No mic chat. It's pretty much just the what's it called? The tower defense mode was pretty flawed. I can't count how many times I did that mode and people rage quit. Like, you guys are assholes. They're literally wasting everyone's time by doing that. It's crazy. But the game does kind of encourage that, to be fair, because if you were lucky, you could get like two clears in one event, like one spawn of it. You could get 2 clears. Well, it's like, yeah, people would be able to tell, like, this shit's not gonna clear, I'm just gonna leave. But then waste everyone else's time in the process.
く急を据えてやらねばな。
Alright, we're not using the main team here because this is a really bad escort mission.
妖術による毒斬りに違いない。
やらなきゃダメなんだ。
東より悪な気が流れておる。
怪我したなら龍神の社が怪しいな。社に行ってみようぜ。冷たい剣を取れ。やらなきゃダメなんだ。やらなきゃダメなんだ。
すぐに盛り返してやるわい。
ダメなんだ。やらなきゃダメなんだ。
口当てろ。
Yeah, this mission sucks. This is one of the worst levels in the game. This level is terrible. You got all the classics. You got fog obscuring the HUD, the map. You can't see the map. You got poison. And an NPC that needs to be kept alive, otherwise you wipe. So, cream of the crap. I'm not fucking around with this. Last time I played this game, I got stuck here for a while. In fact, I should save constantly. There's no fun to be had on this map. Yeah, in this game they don't get healed. AI allies don't get healed if you go near them. That was something that started. That was something that started in Pirate Warriors 3 because they realized how awful shit like this is. Pirate Warriors 3, when they're struggling, as long as you get there in time, they have like a little circle around, a green circle. If you touch the circle, they get healed. So it's a lot harder to get soft-locked in a interim save Groundhog Day cycle, unlike a lot of old-school Muso games. If you don't interim save wisely, you can just get soft-locked and have to do the whole thing over again, because they keep dying. It's actually a really nice touch that they let you do that. Like, yeah, you got over there in time. You shouldn't be punished because they're idiots and they can't handle one generic officer and 3 peons. Yeah, we're just gonna let you fully heal them. Like, you completed the objective, you got over there in time, and you saved them. Yeah, I think Orochi 2 had that as well. It's been a long time.
のものよ。奴の気配南の方角に感じる。
やらなきゃダメなんだ。
厳島神社だ。お、やるじゃねえか。
Well, in PS2 games especially, like, they're not actually fighting when they're off screen. The game's programming is using like an algorithm to determine how much health they lose. When you're actually close to them, they survive a lot longer. That's pretty much why it tells you to go to them right away. Just like if the morale is low, they'll get killed really fast. Just like how AI officers will move faster when they're off screen in most Muso games. If you actually keep them on camera, they go slower. They were trying to save on processing power. But yeah, generally if you got over there in time, they would survive a lot longer, because then they actually have to physically take a hit instead of it being determined by the algorithm. The algorithm, like, I guess it's like rolling pretty much like a turn-based game, like some kind of formula with like their morale, how much health they have, and like how many peons and officers are nearby, or some complicated stuff like that. Alright, the nightmare is over. That's often why, if you wanted the PS2 games especially, if you wanted AI ally to get somewhere faster, you would make sure that they were not rendered on the screen. You get far away enough that the draw distance is not showing them, and they would go faster. I mean, in a way, even more recent games like this still do that, but it's not anywhere near as important. Well, yeah, pretty much if they're not rendered, you can't actually see their character model, and the algorithm is calculating like how they're gonna act.
Okay. So go. Toko. Mom. Stop. Ima. Shori.
Yeah, that's the most recent game to do that would be Hyrule Warriors 1. That was how a lot of people got through that game, because they make you play as shit characters. The game has a lot of really bad movesets, and I guess they wanted you to play as them, even though nobody liked them. So what a lot of people did is they would play two-player and have like one person, or you could even do it by yourself. You leave like the shit character in the base, and then you use like Link or one of the actual not bad movesets, and you would just clear everything with them. If you had an actual person, it was a lot easier, but a lot of people did that in Hyrule Warriors 1, because that game was really obnoxious about making you play, like, blatant garbage characters. That game did that so much. Like, here, you're gonna play as, Tingle. We're gonna force you to play as Tingle, and it's like a 10-star map or whatever. So it's like, either use the two-player trick and get through it quicker, or go waste time grinding out of a character you don't like. Very weird design in that game. I feel like that game would have been better if it had like less movesets and more of them didn't suck. Which is kind of what Age of Calamity was. Age of Calamity was a big improvement in that regard. The game doesn't have anywhere near as much content, but it's like better content. There aren't a ton of crap characters in that game. Most of them were playable. Far higher percentage than first game. Like half the cast of the movesets are garbage. They have the audacity to force you to play as them. Hyrule Warriors 1 just has a lot of things about it that make it... It's not a bad game. It's just... You gotta have more patience to play it than something like this. Just more chill. I mean, there's garbage movesets in this game too, but you're like... you're never forced to use them. And for just basic content, not trying to do like super hardcore stuff, any character in this game can be made powerful. Hyrule Warriors 1, it was a lot harder to make like busted characters. It took a lot of grinding. It's like if you're not vibing with the moveset, it's like, do you really want to do that? I mean, most sane people would say no. If you're not vibing with the character or the moveset or both already, you don't want to spend like 20 hours grinding them out. That just doesn't make any sense. Even if you have like unlimited free time. That's one thing that the Orochi games do really well. If you have a favorite character that's not like broken, overpowered, you can still play as them. It'll take more work, but the game gives you the tools to make them powerful. So if they're your favorite, you know, you can still use them. There's nothing stopping you. Fire Emblem Warriors is just a funny case because people had the weirdest validations for the clone characters. I watched people put up videos about how they have like different stat spreads and stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm not a Fire Emblem fan. I demolished that game. That game is so easy to break. Like, the stats don't fucking matter. Just admit that they're clones. I know they're like passionate about Fire Emblem. I'm like, dude, the stats do not matter at all. It makes zero difference. It's just something that they threw in to make it more accurate to the source material. It's not required. It's like a really dumbed down version of those mechanics in the actual Fire Emblem games where that stuff actually matters. Like, dude, it doesn't matter if this person has three more charisma. It makes no difference. You can make anybody an unstoppable force in that game. It's easy. Those videos were weird. I didn't want to be an ass and comment on like, you know, none of this stuff matters, right? It's not an actual Fire Emblem game. It's a Musou game first and foremost, and just by sheer coincidence, Musou games have a lot in common with Fire Emblem games in terms of having to manage units, being in certain places at certain times and stuff, but, you know, the difference is you're actually controlling the character in action combat. It's not turn-based strategy, so there's no algorithm determining if you hit somebody or if you miss or you know, stat checks or anything like that. There's none of that stuff. I paid no attention to that stuff, and I cleared that game pretty quickly. Never at any point was it required to really interact with the stats. It's like, if you want the stats to matter, then play a real Fire Emblem game. It's like, that stuff does matter. You know, it's like, hey, this character has, you know, 20 more dexterity, so they don't miss that much. It's like, yeah, you want to level up that character. And in the Musou game, none of that shit matters. Very, dumbed down stat system.
無礼失礼八つ咲きにしてくれる。私は負けられない。軍神の粉のあの魔物。よし。うん。うん。結局お守る。
白中
我が最地をお見せしよう。
王竜はどこじゃ。天平はどこじゃ。
That's the dumbest thing about that game in retrospect. They're gonna make you go through all this work to get another clone. There's literally 5 other characters with that exact same moveset. No difference. Fuck that, man. I'm not doing that. Are you crazy? I think at that point I'm just gonna play a different game. Like, I remember when people found out she was a clone. I'm like, they're kidding, right? You get a passive and a bunch of stats that don't matter. Literally 4 other characters that use that exact same moveset. Why the hell would I do that? Are you nuts? Like, that's like, man, I got no shortage of other games to play. Like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm done. That's like a sick joke. Imagine like not being super online and like not knowing about that and actually going through the effort to unlock the system. You've already got 4 characters that do that exact same thing. Probably would uninstall the game, trade it in. That game would be gone, man. Nope, not doing it. Like to play games to have fun, not do pointless stuff that's gonna make me hate it. That's why I'm not a big achievement hunter. As soon as I stop having fun or I do everything that requires skill, I'm done. Not doing anything else. That game had some questionable decisions for sure, like how you had They did 3 DLC packs, and they only made 3 new movesets. The other characters were clones, so the passives that they had were nice, but you know they're still just skins. They have like different voice lines, but they're functionally the exact same character. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm cool with paying for clones. It's just weird that that game came out like years after this game did, and this game has unique movesets for the clones, so they're not clones anymore. I got 2 of them right here. Here's his C4. Here's his C4. Completely different characters. I don't know why they don't do that anymore. You solved the problem in this game and then never did it again. You got Samurai Warriors 5 with like 40 characters and 15 movesets. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, straight objective downgrade. I've got 2 characters with the same weapon. that were cloned in Dynasty Warriors 7. And like they declone like 80% of their moveset. Here's this C2.
私が行こう。
ここを進めば天帝のもとへ行けるのですね。
時にお主王竜を見なんだか。
いえ、お見かけしておりません。
そうか、すでに天帝のもとにおるの
I remember when people found out that the Fire Emblem Warriors DLC was clones. Meltdown. I was pissed too. I'm not even a Fire Emblem fan at all. Like you're really charging money for clones. Like what? Why don't you just have one new character instead of 3? If only one of them is an actual new character. Everyone else is a clone. Hard sell, man. Alright, we'll watch this cutscene because it's like lore important.
やめよ王竜。これは魔物を封じる新境ぞ。
Big moment.
まだそのように俺たちをたばかるか。このようなものがあるからならぬ。
あの姿は。
You know, it's really bad that they made another game after this, because this game like finished his story. It legit sucks that they brought him back. It like gave him an actual backstory, and he's like a sympathetic character now instead of just being a villain. But then they need to make up for Dynasty Warriors 9, so they bring him back, and he barely does anything. It's like, why don't you just call the series something else? Like, he doesn't need to come back just because it says Orochi. You know, they've made Final Fantasy VII games without Cloud in it. They've made several. They made a good 3 or 4 Final Fantasy games with no Cloud. It doesn't need to have it back. Yeah, 4's story is pretty dumb. You can mostly just ignore it. Just treat this as the end of his storyline.
承知しました。天帝を守りしつつ城を脱しましょう。
私が行こう。
まだに信じられぬ。王竜がオロチに変化したとは元の姿に戻せぬ以上戦うほかあるまいが、なんとも哀れなやつ。我を引かせる次が楽しみ。前回の奴らを逃がすだ。思うように動かぬ。ケイラだけでも逃げる。何を仰せある。
I mean, we just had Tales of Arise come out a couple years back, and they pretty much admitted it was never supposed to be a Tales game. which is why it doesn't feel, look, or play like one. Companies will do anything for brand recognition, even when it doesn't make sense. Yeah, they really should have called that game something else. I mean, it's no different than Kiryu. He keeps coming back. You know, they gave Kiryu an ending in Yakuza 6, but then he keeps coming back over and over. It's like it just cheapens the whole thing. It's like I get coming back for like cameos, but he's coming back for like a whole ass new game. Like, it's like they're scared to get rid of him. It's the same thing with Orochi. Orochi and Kiryu kind of have a lot in common. The way that they're written. It's like you want there to be like a new generation and new characters, but you're scared to get rid of them entirely, so they keep coming back over and over, and it just loses impact when you do it constantly. Like, and maybe like once or something, but not like 2-3 times. It's just too much. That's funny that they did that as well, because like the new games are alienating a lot of the old fans because they're turn-based. And like even if you like turn-based, the Yakuza 7 is not even like really super great turn-based combat in the first place. But now they're pretty much saying they're going to commit to just having it turn-based all the time. Like, I don't know, man. And then they keep bringing Kiryu back, too. It's like, which one is it? Because you're not really moving it forward when you give a character an actual ending, and then they keep coming back. Or you get the opposite, where they keep coming back, and they get a depressing ending. That's what happened with the Kamen Rider O's movie. They like did a 10th anniversary for that show. They did a special for it, like a one-off movie, and it's like mega depressing. It's like, well, you know, the character already had an ending. I'm not saying that sad endings are invalid. It's just you're gonna bring them back. I think people expect there to be less depressing closure. That's what I'd like to think anyway. I mean, it's just like bringing Luke Skywalker back. You know, they brought back like all the old Star Wars characters, and they don't get good endings. They all die, pretty much. They die like chumps. It's like, well, you know, they're not really going to add much of anything besides just shitting on the legacy, then why bring them back? I do feel like a lot of the reason why Kiryu is coming back for like the 5th time is because of the problems with the actor who does Judgment, because his agency is batshit insane. And it was like a big deal to even get those games on PC because the agency is super restrictive on their actors and what they can do with them and stuff. So I really do think, in their defense, they probably did not want to bring Kiryu back again. But he's not based on an actual person. You know, they can make as many games with him as they want, whereas Yagami is has the likeness of like a popular actor. So like the Judgment and Lost Judgment ports pretty much just happened because they put it on Stadia because, you know, you're not actually running the game on your computer. Like, they have like full control over it, so you couldn't mod it. But then I guess the owner of his agency passed away, and I guess that changed things. Sega was pissed. So, like, the Yakuza games, I think, actually sell the most on PC. So, you know, they made like 2 high-quality games, and they couldn't sell it on the most profitable platform because of the actor's agency. So I really think what they're trying to do is maybe set up another character. A character that's not based on the likeness of a real-world person. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why, because I'm not a Yakuza fan really, but I do watch people that play them, and I have friends that play them, and a lot of them don't like that Kiryu keeps coming back. Like, yeah, it's a cop-out. You're gonna give a beloved character an ending where they can actually live happy and not be stuck in a shitty loop of bad things happening to them. Yeah, probably shouldn't keep bringing them back.
敵でも味方でも手がかりにはなるかも。だけ行ってみようよ。
私が行こう。ここだ。討伐です。ここだ。
It's like when they brought Lloyd back and brought the Tails characters from Symphonia 1 into Dawn of the New World, and then the characters don't evolve much. They suck in gameplay, and then they try to convince you that Lloyd did a heel turn, and it's like, you know he's not going to turn evil. But they make you wait until like 70% through the game before they tell you he's not actually evil. It's like, yeah, I kind of deduced that already. I have more than one brain cell. I knew he wasn't evil. Dawn of the New World is just a weird game. You basically get two functional movesets, and then like all the legacy characters suck to play. And even if you like playing them, they're level capped. So if you do the in-game content or do New Game Plus, they're useless. Really, just clown shoes design. It's like doing the post game and stuff in that, you can't really use the Tails characters. They're actually pretty useless. It's a weird decision. It's one thing to not want to put a lot of time into movesets of characters that you can't use that much when playing normally, but why level cap them? That just makes them even more useless. Regal is so janky in that game. It's like, at least let people overcome the crap movesets, jank movesets with stats, but you can't even do that, so... If you care to play that game again, it's pretty much just going to be Emil, Marta, and 2 Pokemon. The Pokemon are leaps and bounds better than the legacy characters. They're useless past, like, the final boss, pretty much. Oh, they did! They did. Literally, like, right before this came out. A lot of people, Oh, for emulation, I mean. No, it can't. It can't. The engine's also really bad as well. Yeah, for emulation, there's a 60 FPS patch for the PS3 version that was released. The problem is this engine is really bad. Like, I don't know if you've seen the PS4 and Xbone version of this game, but like, the VSync or something is all messed up. So, I think it's like triple buffered VSync. So, if it drops even like 1 or 2 frames, the frame rate tanks. So, those versions are not much better than the last gen, or the original version. So, PS3 and Xbox, they're like a little bit better. It's like upscaled, but the frame rate is like really bipolar. It fluctuates a lot, so some people like me are very sensitive to that stuff, so it makes it kind of crap to play. Right now, best way to play this game, if you don't have a PC, is a Japanese Switch version with custom firmware, and there's a frame rate code for it. Like, I installed that code, and as long as you overclock the Switch, It's like 60 FPS most of the time. It actually feels pretty good. But I guess they don't want to put this on console because they're basically selling the same game again, and the engine's too jacked up to like patch it. They did something crazy with this because the only thing I've seen that gets messed up because of having the doubled frame rate is like certain visual effects. Like right now I'm playing on a 60 Hz monitor because otherwise the particle effects get all screwed up. No, the way Switch hacking works is you don't go online. It has two versions. So basically your Switch has EmuNAND and SysNAND. SysNAND is just how the Switch is without being modified, and then EmuNAND is your custom firmware. So, I mean, if you go online with cheats, you know, you try to go play like Splatoon with like aimbot or something, then you'll get banned. But if you're just playing single-player games like this, you just turn off the online when you go in custom firmware. It's fine. I'm not banned. I use my custom firmware every time I need to dump a game, and I still buy games. Yeah, it's very easy to do that. Yeah, custom firmware on the Switch is not permanent. It only stays until you reset the Switch. So if you power it off and you turn it back on, it's like it was never hacked. Yeah, I put up some videos of the Switch version right before this came out. It's a good version. It's a good port. It has everything, all the DLC like this does. Well, yeah, custom firmware is not permanent. It's not permanent. It's not like the Wii. It's not like the Wii where hacking it was permanent. It's kind of like starting your Switch in another operating system that can run like unsigned stuff. So for me, since I don't pirate Switch games, for me, all I do in custom firmware is I dump the game, which you just do through an app, and I dump my saves because I'm not playing through the game all over from scratch just because of a better frame rate. I take the exact same save that I used on the Switch, and I just I put it on the emulator. That's all I really use it for. Cheats as well for some games. Well, other than that, I don't do anything too crazy with it. Now, if you want to actually pirate games, that's a whole other can of worms, because I guess that can get you banned. But I don't bother with that. I want to keep the Switch. You know, I can still play it normally. I don't want to mess with it too much. And plus, there's like no games I even want to pirate. I already own them all. I bought them all legally. No reason. But yeah, if you're just gonna dump games and use like frame rate codes, there's nothing's gonna happen. They can't tell. I don't even really think they care. I don't think they care unless you start cheating online or you make it very apparent that you're pirating stuff, and I guess maybe they'll step in. But yeah, I've had no problems at all. I'm not doing anything that's sent to their servers. Because you can just turn off the online when you're in custom firmware mode, and it's like, well, if the Switch can't even get online, like, what's gonna happen to you? like, nothing's gonna happen. That's what most people do that use their modded Switch like me. They don't use it for any illegal stuff. Just for dumping games and saves and for cheats. And yeah, nothing's gonna happen. It's completely safe. I feel like if anybody tells you they got banned for it, they probably are not admitting to piracy. Pretty high chance. Yeah, I got banned just for dumping games and playing games offline. Like, nope, you probably gave yourself God mode on Splatoon or something. Or gave yourself infinite blue shells on Mario Kart or some shit like that. I doubt it was anything like they claim. Yeah, also your saves are separate. They're separate from Emunand and Sysnand. So like Bayonetta 3, for instance. And I paid for the game like everybody else. I bought it. But I played it in custom firmware mode because the frame rate is better. Because you can overclock. So when I go on the actual Switch, like the non-modified version of the Switch, the save is like the first hour of the game. Because I played it for a little bit and then I just started playing in custom firmware. So the saves don't talk to each other. However, you can get saves from Emunand, from Sysnand while you're in Emunand. What that allows you to do is transfer it to an emulator. So like, one of the things I did is this game, I ripped my legal copy of this, and I ran it on emulator so it would run better. Works fine. Well, basically the reason why the Switch even has custom firmware is because they use NVIDIA hardware in it, and I guess there's some security exploit on the right side of the console. If you put the jig in there, it's called an RCM jig. RCM stands for recovery mode. If you put that in there and you have the right stuff installed, basically it puts the Switch in recovery mode, which allows you to run unsigned code. So what it does is it loads up a homebrew that allows you to, there's a number of things you can do. You can make an Emunand, which is basically like a copy. It's like having two versions of Windows, pretty much. So you have one where you do all the hacking, and then there's the modding and stuff, and then you have like the regular one. So you make a copy of it. But then you can also get the card to read on your computer or phone, so you can transfer saves and stuff for emulation. Yeah, they fucked up, and I'm glad they did, because, man, a lot of those Switch games just run awful. They run really bad. I'm like, yeah, I'll still legally buy the game. I'm not gonna deny them of the hard-earned money that they deserve, but I don't have to play it on their crap hardware. That wasn't part of the agreement.
はどうするんだ。
Oh, the Bloodstained port is awful. I definitely sympathize with you. The Bloodstained port is really fucking bad. It took them like months to fix it as well, and they made it a little bit better, but not enough. It's like still like barely acceptable. Yeah, the input lag on the Switch version was really bad. It's like really bad. It felt like half a second or more input lag. Now, to be fair, it wasn't as bad as people said, I think, because the jumping in that game is already really floaty. It still felt really bad. Like, backdash canceling and stuff felt really hard. Because the Switch already has like 3 frames of input lag just built in, just baked into like all the games. But then Bloodstained Switch had even more input lag. So it was kind of like Street Fighter V, you know, that had like 8 frames of input lag. But yeah, I remember when I got it, and like I couldn't backdash cancel, I could barely jump. I'm sure you could probably adapt to it, but it was not acceptable. It's just funny that the Switch version actually sold the most. I think the Switch version sold an order of magnitude more than any other version. It's like the worst way to play the game. The mobile version, even the mobile version is better. The mobile version is way better than the Switch version, and it's like half the price. I bought the mobile version. It's actually pretty good. You just need a decent phone and a controller, but if you already have those things, it's way better than the Switch version. It's actually pretty pathetic, honestly. It's just I'm sure nobody bought the mobile version because paid apps don't sell. It's really hard to sell paid apps even when it's like dirt cheap. It's like the I think Bloodstained on mobile is like $10 or something, or like $12. It's like nothing, but it doesn't sell. It's just funny because it actually is like a legit good version of the game. I mean, it's not as good as PC, but for portable, if you don't have a Steam Deck, it's worth the money. Especially if you haven't played the game before. It's leaps and bounds better than the Switch version for a cheaper price too. So it's just going to cost more up front because you do need a decent phone, but I feel like anybody that actually games on their phone has a decent one. Alright, I think we're going to do some Street Fighter for a little bit, and then maybe some Basara. Actually, let me go do my PGR homework first. Yeah, they sold like way more copies of the Switch version because that's generally how smaller games go, indie games and stuff. They sell way more copies on the Switch. It's just hilarious. It's like the worst version. It's one of those like no other options kind of things. I'll be right back. probably the same for Cyberpunk as well. They probably sold the most copies on the PS4 and Xbone, and it like barely works. That's probably why they made the decision to stop selling it. It's just greed. You want to put your game on the biggest install base, but you don't want to actually put effort into making it playable.
Online. Great match.
It's funny that they're putting Jedi Survivor on PS4 and Xbone. Man, that's gonna be a disaster. I can't wait. Those are gonna be some funny videos that people make.
Here comes a new challenger.
Anything for a quick buck. Anything for a quick buck. See if I can actually not get my ass kicked on this.
Round 2. Fight. DJ wins!
They're still working on Bloodstained, aren't they? They still haven't put out all the content for it. It's taken like 4 years.
Here comes a new challenger!
They definitely should not have overpromised. It shouldn't take 4 years to get done with stretch goals. That's like insane to me. They're still not done. Still going. Bloodstain lives on. It's eternal.
Round 2. Fight! Fight! Round! Fight!
I hate how long these supers are. Take too long.
Manon wins! Round 1. Rashid wins. Round 1. Fight. Round 2. Fight.
Right in that combo! Fuck. I still like don't really know that many combos. That's okay. I don't really get pissed when I know I'm bad at the game. I only get pissed when I know I'm good at it and I'm playing bad. Get better.
Here comes a new challenger.
I haven't really been playing this much on stick either, as that's not helping. That's on me. Fighting against High C.
Round 1.
Drop the combo. Nice job.
Round 2. Fight. Fight!
Nice cancel. I wish these supers were shorter though. They take too long. Oh well, this one's pretty much done. I had it right there. I can't. Forgot I was in burnout. Total, 0 brain cells there. I'm not very good at this game. It's a little slower than what I'm used to. It's all good. I'm having fun. We'll definitely won't be putting out any, guides for this game. I got nothing to offer.
Rashid wins! Round 1. Fight! Round 2. Fight! Rashid wins! Training. First online training match. Practice. Training. Yin Ho wins.
Survivalist, heroic and tireless. Earn my stripes 'cause you know I can die with this. The wind's always on my side.
Alright, well, I do like Street Fighter 6, but I'm honestly terrible at it. I'm better at more degenerate fighting games. Street Fighter 6 is pretty degenerate. It actually is quite degenerate, but it's not the level of degeneracy that I'm like actually really a natural at. So I don't know how much more I'll stream that. How was the quality on tonight's stream? Because I'm using my 60 hertz monitor as my main monitor instead of the 165 because I've been playing a lot of Orochi 3, and if you have that game on a high refresh rate monitor, the particle effects stay on the screen for like 20 seconds each, so it's like unplayable. Oh, when you start like doing advanced stuff, it's like unplayable because the particle effects completely obscure all the character models. You like can't really see. So I'm curious if anyone's still watching. How was the quality today? Was it any worse than usual? So I have a feeling that maybe putting it on that monitor might make the quality worse somehow, but I'm not quite sure. If anyone could chime in on that, it would be appreciated. But I think I'll do like one more game tonight, because I have to actually have to be up in the morning. I'm getting my groceries delivered at like 9, and they usually come like they say 8 to 9, but they always come at like 8 on the dot. They're really efficient, so I should probably get to bed actually. I'll go ahead and test something really quick. So give me a moment here. And yeah, I should test something really quick before I go, which is if I switch back to my main monitor, does the stream get jacked up? I'm genuinely curious because I really only want to put it on the secondary monitor for Orochi and Street Fighter, and then maybe some of the emulated stuff. But other than that, it's going to be main monitor all the way. So yeah, let's go ahead and test that really quick. If the stream freaks out, it is what it is, because I'm about to sign off anyway. Let's see what it does. Okay, well, the control panel literally crashed, so that's a bad sign. That's not good. They really need to fix Orochi 3, man. It's so stupid how if you have a higher refresh rate monitor, the visual effects, like, tweak out. Alright. Hold on a sec. Alright, so far it seems like there's no complications other than NVIDIA control panel, like, having a heart attack or something. Seems like it's okay. The stream's still up, so I'm going to assume everything is okay. But yeah, I'm going to have to keep doing this if I keep playing Orochi 3. It's one of the reasons why I haven't been playing that game, because the game's got a lot of bugs with high refresh rate monitors that they never bothered to fix. And it's like putting the monitor back on what's it called, 60 hertz every time I play it is probably not going to help things either. I suppose I could try that actually. Let's go ahead and try that. I don't want to have to like stop streaming every time I stop playing that game. Let's see here. Let's see if it's going to tweak out or not. It's stupid that I even have to do this. They should fix their game. Who fixes their games at launch anymore, huh? They should just abandon it. Alright. Stream's still up, I think. Alright, let's give this a quick shot here. Okay, so what happens when I get into gameplay here? Is it gonna have all the weird graphical glitches, or is it gonna work? That is the question. Might be how I just have to do this from now on.
他ならぬ君のためだ。まずは援助へ向かいましょう。城の無事を確認しなければ。よし、今だ。
Alright, looks like it's working. Guess that's how streaming this game is gonna go. Either that or just play it on the Steam Deck. That might actually be easier, funnily enough. This game does not like variable refresh rate monitors. It gets a lot of graphical glitches that are really annoying. They kind of obstruct your view, so... Alright, if anyone's on right now, I don't mean to call out lurkers, but how was the quality tonight? Is it like good or bad? Because I'm like fucking with my monitors right now in the middle of a stream. I'm very curious how it's been tonight. Because this game requires a lot of visual sacrifices to get working, because it only works normally if you have a 60Hz monitor. So you can either unplug your monitor or make your primary monitor the 60Hz monitor, or make your variable refresh rate 160Hz. Even though it's variable refresh rate, if it's just a high refresh rate monitor, the game gets a lot of graphical glitches. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to stream this game and then also transition to other stuff. Because, you know, if I have to just only stream this game for one stream and then reset, I don't really mind. But, it seems like it's okay. Messing with graphical settings while you're streaming can, cause your computer to freak out, so... I guess I'll just watch it back.
後から敵を一気に崩せ。また伏兵とは。これは囲まれてしまったか。
呂布殿が援助にいるはずがありません。神宮殿たち偽の呂布殿に騙されています。説得が無理ならば策で打って出ます。忠勝さん、優先して敵を引きつけてください。
心得た。
お前の活躍眩しいばかりだ。私が真の三国無双だ。私が行こう。ここだ。
Alright, looks like it's fine. I'm going to assume that it's fine. It's just, not really desirable to change your graphical settings and shit while you're streaming. Kind of want to avoid it, but I'm going to keep playing this. I'm going to have to suck it up and do it. This game's been out for like a year. They're clearly not going to patch it again, so... I might just start playing this on the Steam Deck. It's less hassle to set up my capture card and stream it off the deck than it is to play it on PC. Very annoying bugs and never fixed. Modern video game classic. Am I like soft locked or what? Supposed me to kill peons? I mean, if you want me to kill peons, maybe you could actually spawn them. Would be nice. I remember this being dumb. Okay, just open the door and let me kill them. They'll die instantly. How many more does it need? Seriously. Not spawning anybody. Fuck does it want? Other stuff like this. Come on! Let me continue. So dumb. Just let me fight. It's boring. Let me continue. Good. Open up and get your ass beat. Come on. Not getting any younger here, folks. Come on. Dude, let me... Come on, it's boring. Auto-scroller. Come on, open the door! Let me fucking play! You have to wait for them to stop talking. Come on. Seriously, I have to wait for him to physically go over there instead of just opening the door so I can finish. Open the fucking door.
呂布殿、外にナタがいるようだが出陣しないのか。
構わん。雑魚になど興味ないよ。
Put through this side.
先の戦では
How much are they
ナ
gonna
タに
talk?
固執していたではないか。
うるさいやつじゃ。さてはわらわの正体に気づきおったな。
Come on, shut up! God damn it, dude! Shut up! Alright. Finally.
ここで陳旧殿を失うわけにはいきません。早く呂布殿の偽物を撃たなくては。受けてみろ。私が行こう。
Dude, it's still not over after like 10 hours of talking.
なかなかに楽しめたわ。
私が行こう。
残る者らの悲鳴はわらわが引き出そうぞ。
出ましたね。
Definitely not doing this again. Let's save.
あなたが現れるのを待っていましたよ。私が行こう。
もう芝居はやめじゃ。人の子供を始末せよ。
これぐらいにしといてやる。
よもやわらわが。
私は負けられない。軍神の
賜物前の
よし。
玉も持ちであん
そ楽し
I think that's gonna do it for now, folks. We'll continue this later. I'm actually getting pretty hungry. I need to take my meds, and also I do need to be up in the morning, so I don't want to do full DGen streaming schedule tonight. I definitely feel like I could go for a few more hours, but I do have to be up in the morning, and my meds pretty much sedate me, so I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Looks like changing the frame rate midstream didn't really mess with things too much, so I guess that's how things are going to go if I keep playing Orochi 3, because otherwise the particle effects get dragged out like really long. Like you hit somebody once, and like the rocks and the lightning and the slashes and stuff, they stay out for like 20 seconds. So when you start playing at a high level, the screen is full of particle effects. It's really obnoxious. So I guess that's how we're going to do things for now. I will see you guys, if I manage to get to sleep and they come on time, I might actually stream in the morning. But otherwise, I'll see you guys probably when I'm at my caregiving job or after. Thanks for watching.